As a designer, you're going to reach a point as you're going to get to a senior position where your thought leadership is going to matter much more than your actual contribution, and you're going to start delivering things through others. You're going to need to delegate, you're going to need to do it meaningfully, you're going to need to do it rightfully, you're going to need to pick the person who is right for the job. And even if you're not there yet and you think, oh, it's just for managers, well, you are personally managing yourself. It still applies. The same exact frameworks for the management of other people applies to a personal management. This is super important. It is for you. And you need to start way before you need these principles, way before you need these lessons, so you can actually apply when the time is right. The score takes care of itself is a title of this book. Who is Bill Walsh? Well, I'm not gonna do it justice because I'm not really an American football fan, but someone on the chat might write up because he's apparently like a massive legend in a West Coast college football coach, but also was a professional football coach. He headed up the San Francisco 49ers and Stanford Cardinals. Basically, he wrote these leadership books on his leadership philosophy, and they're really powerful. You don't have to care about the sport as much. What you have to care is about the team sport, because if you remember from my previous point, the team has to come before your personal self. The users have to come before your team. The business has to come before the users, because otherwise you're not linking it up correctly. So this is a point that you must take yourself out of the equation as someone you're focusing on, because you benefit from your team doing well. The mistakes a lot of juniors do, that they focus solely on their own contribution, their own progression. But if they don't collaborate, if they don't care about their teammates, they're not performing well enough. Other books which are top on that note are, for example, Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. All of their messages focus on others. Even if, let's say, you read books on mental well-being, on happiness, the messages are very clear. Focus on other people, and in doing so you're going to become much happier than just focusing on your needs. Because if you focus on just your needs in UX, in any other field, you're not going to get anywhere. Everything is a team sport, everything is collaboration. Even if you're planning to run your own consultancy or business, you're going to rely on other people at some point, because otherwise you're not going to have a business. The people who get ahead, the people who stand out, are the ones who actually put themselves out there, but actually care and focus on other people surrounding them. They empower other people. That's how you become a leader. And some key takeaways from it as well, which is not as related to the team, you know, and you don't even have to think about personal performance. As long as you care about the team, the score is going to take care of itself, basically. But some key takeaways which I extracted, which is super important, is that professionalism matters. You must act like a champion. And this is the quote by actual Bill Walsh. The champions act like champions before they become champions. If you want to be a great UX designer, start doing the great UX stuff. Do the great UX. Deliver it by the book. Do your research. Do it deeply. Don't skip or cut corners. Be a champion in UX, and you're gonna become a champion in UX. You are everything you want to be. That's exactly the outcome of that. Make sure that you also empower other people in your team. Set standards. Show how it's done. Show how it has to be done if it's not done yet. Show, take them on a journey of how it could be better. Show them the results. Try to convince them, influence them. Then they're gonna learn. Then you are gonna learn. The team is gonna become stronger. You're gonna become stronger. You're gonna get ahead of where you are at personally. It's simple as that. Another one, keep a short list of enemies. Having enemies doesn't benefit anyone, especially in organizations. You're always going to have people where you have contentions, you have friction points. Those people might become your friends eventually, and usually it happens all the time. You can't avoid interpersonal relationships with no friction. And you wouldn't ever connect. You wouldn't know exactly how to work with other people if you never have a clash here and there. But you have to also limit it. You have to know which battles to take, which battles your team has to take on. You shouldn't just go ahead and, fight everything or be like, oh, I'm gonna do the proper UX and screw you, and I'm like, gonna battle with you, and we're gonna like, roll with the punches here and try to kind of like get ahead and try to get that user centricity done within a business. That's not gonna work. What's gonna work is actually having some allies, some not so much allies, and then working slowly and getting ahead, day by day, month by month, and kind of developing it there. Protect your blind side. It's as easy as that. I think it's more personal, but it's basically what Bill Walsh is stating, that you must consider what you don't know. You must clearly state, as a UX designer even more so, I don't know this. Because if you don't, you're not gonna go ahead and find the insights to cover it. If you don't know what you don't know, it's actually then sparks you to come up with a hypothesis to find out exactly what you're going to get after and then improve. Otherwise, you're just gonna be flatline and stay stable in the same spot as a person, as a teammate, as a someone who's within business. And then last one is sometimes you can have the last word. And this is very important. I would say often you can have a last word. It matters a lot that you're bold and you're outspoken and you advocate for user needs, but sometimes it's better to play the long game. Play it so that you can battle it out eventually. You don't have to always be right. You don't have to always get it right. As long as you're right enough, the team is gonna progress, the business is gonna progress, you're gonna arrive at better conclusions. It's never gonna be like, bam, and we're doing UX 100%. It's just never gonna happen that. You're always gonna have compromises and sacrifices to make, but it's also making your ego in check so that your ego is activated when it needs to be, but also, allows other egos to come in when it needs to be. So you collaborate basically.